Most people walk out of a car dealership thinking they negotiated a great deal on the price and have no idea they just handed back everything they saved and then some in a back room they barely remember being in. The interest rate the dealer shows you is almost never the rate you actually qualified for, and the difference between those two numbers has a name inside the industry that they definitely don't share with you. So the question is, what happens when you already know that number before you walk through the door? I want to tell you about a day that still bothers me. I had spent 12 years working finance at dealerships. I knew every move in that office. I knew what the desk did with the numbers. I knew what the lender approval sheet looked like. I knew the exact language the finance manager used to plant the warranty. And then I went to buy my own car at a dealer I did not work at, and I got bumped. They took the rate I qualified for, 5.1% Hoxlers, and presented me 7.2%. I was so focused on the vehicle price, so pleased with myself for getting 500 under invoice, that I walked into that office with my guard down. I signed at 7.2. I did not ask to see the bank approval. I did not pull out a competing offer. I trusted the paper in front of me. On a $28,000 loan over 60 months, that mistake cost me $1,891. That is not a small number. I knew exactly what had happened the moment I got home and ran the math. And I sat there in my kitchen looking at my phone thinking, if it happened to me, it happens to everyone. I am Phil. I spent over a decade on the finance side of the car business in the United States. I am going to show you what I know in the order it matters, with what it costs and where the money actually goes. Then I am going to tell you the part that should make you pause, which is that most of what I am about to share is not secret. The information exists. The people who benefit from you not knowing it are just very good at keeping the conversation somewhere else. Quick word before I go further. The old methods my family uses, there is more of it than fits in any one video. I gathered the whole of it into a book you can buy in our pinned comment below. The book is the long version. If you want it, it is there. I will not mention it again. By the end of this video, you are going to know how the rate system works, how to get your real number before you walk into any dealership, what to say when you sit down in the finance office, and what to ignore when they push the product menu across the desk. And the total cost to do all of this is nothing. It is free. It takes about 40 minutes of your time before you ever step foot on a lot. Stay with me, because what I am going to tell you next is the thing that changes the whole game. Most people think buying a car is one transaction. It is not. It is three. The vehicle price is the first one. The trade-in value is the second. The financing is the third. The dealership sees all three as separate opportunities to make money. The buyer almost always treats it as one conversation. That mismatch is where the money goes. Let me tell you what the rate system actually looks like from the inside, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. When you apply for financing at a dealership, the finance manager does not decide your rate. The lender does. The dealer sends your application to the banks and finance companies they partner with, Chase Auto, Capital One, Ally, Westlake, a dozen others depending on the franchise. The lender comes back with what is called the buy rate. That is your rate. The rate the lender is willing to give you based on your credit profile and the loan structure. It might be 5.1%, it might be 6.8%. Whatever it is, the dealer is legally allowed to mark it up and pocket the difference. That markup is called the dealer reserve. Most dealers will push it as high as the lender allows, typically 2% to 2.5%. Some push further on buyers they believe will not notice. The reserve sits between the rate you qualified for and the rate you are shown, and you never see the original number unless you ask for the lender approval document directly. Most finance managers will not show it to you. Some will tell you they cannot. Neither of those things is true, but the conversation gets awkward fast and most buyers back down. You do not have to back down. And you do not have to ask either if you walk in already holding a rate from your own lender, because now their markup is visible. Anything above your pre-approval rate is money going to the dealer, not to you. And you can say so politely and let them decide whether they want the deal or not. Here is what most people get wrong. They walk in knowing the car they want, they have done some research on the price, and they feel prepared. What they have not done is anything about the financing. So when the vehicle price is agreed and they walk back to the finance office, and that walk, that transition from the sales floor to the back office, is the most important 30 seconds of the whole deal, they are starting from zero. They do not know their real rate. They do not have a competing offer. They have nothing but a monthly payment number in their head that the salesperson planted there during the test drive. That number is the anchor, and every move in the finance office is designed around it. The most dangerous question a car dealer can ask you is this one: what kind of monthly payment are you looking for? The moment you answer that question, you have handed them control of the deal, because the monthly payment is a dial. They can hit any payment number you name by stretching the loan term, by raising the interest rate, by rolling in add-on products, by folding in negative equity from a trade-in. The payment stays the same. What changes is how much money you actually spend, and the total cost, not the monthly payment, is the number that matters. Here is the counterintuitive truth. The single most powerful move in car financing has nothing to do with what you say at the dealership. It is what you do 10 days before you get there. It is a pre-approval from a credit union. That one piece of paper changes the entire dynamic of the finance office conversation. Because instead of walking in empty-handed and letting the dealer tell you what rate you qualify for, you walk in with a rate in your hand, and now they have to beat it. Or you use yours. Either way, you win. Let me show you how to get there. The first thing you do before you look at a single car listing is pull your own credit report. You go to annualcreditreport.com. It is the federally mandated free site. You are entitled to one free report from each of the three bureaus every 12 months: Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. Pull all three. This is a soft pull. It does not touch your score. What you are looking for is your score tier. 720 and above is prime. You will get the best rates. 680 to 719 is near prime. Still good rates, just not the floor. Under 620 is subprime, and the rate world there is a different conversation entirely. Know your tier before anything else. Once you know your tier, you go find a credit union, not a bank, a credit union. The difference matters in dollar terms. Credit unions are member-owned, not for profit. In 2026, the spread between a credit union rate and a dealer-arranged rate on a 60-month loan for a borrower with good credit averages between 1 and 2.5%. On a $30,000 loan, 1.5% is $1,500 over the life of the loan. That is free money you are leaving on the table every time you finance through the dealer without checking. Most people think they cannot join a credit union that is not connected to their employer. That is not true. Many federally chartered credit unions allow anyone to join through affiliated membership organizations. You pay $5 to join an association, and that makes you eligible. Pentagon Federal Credit Union, PenFed, is one of the largest and most accessible. Navy Federal if you or a family member has served. Your state employee credit union. Your local municipal credit union. Look them up. Apply online. The application takes 15 to 20 minutes. You will get a pre-approval letter with a specific rate tied to your credit profile and loan amount. Here's the trick that most buyers miss. Apply to more than one lender, and do it within a 14-day window. The credit scoring models treat multiple auto loan inquiries within 14 days as a single inquiry. You are not penalized for shopping. Apply at your credit union, apply at your bank, and if you want a digital option, tools like Outside Financial let you see competing rates from multiple lenders without a hard pull, just to browse. Get 2 or 3 live offers. The best rate you find becomes your floor. That is the number you bring to the dealer. Now you walk in. The car is selected. You negotiate the vehicle price first. Nothing else. When the salesperson asks about your trade-in, tell them you would like to settle the vehicle price first and discuss trade separately. When they ask what monthly payment you are targeting, you say, "I am focused on the out-the-door price right now." Those two moves alone, separating the transactions and refusing to anchor on a payment, are worth more than any other tactic I can give you. Dealers are trained to blend all three transactions together. Your job is to keep them apart. Do not reveal your pre-approval during price negotiation. Hold it. The pre-approval is your weapon in the finance office, not the showroom. If the salesperson knows you have outside financing ready, the whole dealership goes into a different mode. You want them negotiating on price, assuming they will make their money on the financing. Let them. You will settle the score in the back room. When the vehicle price is agreed and signed, and the salesperson walks you back to the finance office, this is the moment. You sit down, the finance manager smiles, and they begin building your loan. At some point, they will present you an interest rate. Here is what you do. You say, before we go further, I have a pre-approval here at 5.2%. Can you beat that? You slide your letter across the desk. One of two things happens. They cannot beat it, and you use your credit union financing, clean and simple. Or they can, sometimes the dealer has access to manufacturer subsidized rates, particularly on new vehicles, and 2.9% or 3.9% promotions are real. If they beat your rate legitimately, take it. That is real money saved. But watch what happens next, because now they pivot to products. The finance office product menu is where dealers earn what they call the back end. The back end is all the money made after the vehicle price. There are 4 products you will almost always be offered. Let me go through them one at a time. GAP insurance. This covers the difference between what you owe on your loan and what your insurance company pays out if the car is totaled in the first year or two. It is genuinely useful if you are financing with less than 20% down or on a long loan term. The dealer will charge you between $500 and $1,000 for it, rolled into your loan. Your own auto insurance company offers the exact same coverage as an add-on to your existing policy for $20 to $60 per year. Same product, 1/10 the price. Say no at the dealer. Call your insurer that night. Extended warranty, the finance office's highest margin product. The dealer's cost on a warranty they present to you at $2,500 is typically somewhere between $800 and $1,200. They are not hiding that math. They are counting on you not knowing it. If you want an extended warranty, and for some vehicles and some buyers it makes sense, tell them you need to think about it. You have 30 days after purchase to buy most extended warranty products directly from third-party providers like Endurance or Autopalm, or from the manufacturer's own certified program at 50 to 70% less than the dealer's price. Do not sign it in the office. Paint protection and fabric protection, marked up 3 to 400% over actual cost. Modern vehicles do not need either. Say no. VIN etching, nitrogen tire fill, credit life insurance. No, no, and no. The phrase you use in that office is simple. I would like to keep this clean today. You say it calmly once and you let it sit. Most finance managers will push once or twice and then move on. The ones who push hard are making a lot of money on you, and they know it. Stay calm. Stay specific. I would like to keep this clean. Now let me zoom out and tell you what this actually adds up to. Because I think people hear percentage points and their eyes glaze, so let me give you a real number. You are buying a $32,000 car. You finance $28,000 after a reasonable down payment. You have good credit, and your real buy rate, the rate the lender offered the dealer, is 5.2%. The dealer presents you 7.4%. On a 60-month loan, that 2.2% difference costs you $1,900. You also signed for dealer gap at $800 rolled in. Your insurer would have charged you $60 a year, which over 4 years of likely need is $240. Difference, $560. You signed for the extended warranty at $2,400. You could have bought equivalent third-party coverage for $900. Difference, $1,500. Total difference between the deal you got and the deal you could have had, $3,960 on one transaction for one car in one afternoon. That is not the dealer cheating you. Every one of those moves is legal. Every one of them is standard. And every one of them vanishes the moment you walk in with a pre-approval, separate the transactions, and say no to the add-ons in the room. There is something that happens to people when they understand the system for the first time. They get angry for a moment. Then they get practical. The anger is understandable. This is a lot of money, and the opacity is deliberate. But the practical side matters more, because the system is not going to change. Dealers have been running this playbook for decades and they will run it for decades more. The FTC has been sending warning letters to dealership groups since early 2026 about deceptive pricing practices, and state attorneys general have collected nine-figure settlements in recent years. But the reserve is not illegal. It is disclosed in the paperwork, buried in the fine print of a contract you sign in a room you have been sitting in for 90 minutes. The protection you have is not legal. It is informational. The people who save money in that office are not the ones waiting for the regulations to protect them. They are the ones who walked in prepared. Here is something else worth knowing. The same logic applies to your trade-in. The dealer will often lowball the trade, knowing that if they got you on rate, they can give a little on trade, and you will feel like you came out ahead. The real move is to get a trade appraisal from CarMax or a competing dealer before you walk in, not a guess. An actual offer in writing. CarMax offers are good for 7 days. You can hand that to any dealer and say, "This is my floor on the trade. Beat it or I sell it separately." That leverage, combined with your pre-approval, means all three transactions now have a floor. The dealer can only make money in the space above those floors, and that space gets a lot smaller when you know what the floors are. I have been on both sides of this desk. I know what the finance manager is thinking when you walk in, and what I know, what took me years to understand even working in the industry, is that the buyers who do well in that office are not the loudest ones. They are not the angriest. They are the ones who did 20 minutes of homework 10 days earlier and walked in knowing one number, their rate. That one number reframes the entire conversation. In 20 years on both sides of this desk, I never met a buyer who regretted knowing too much going in. I met plenty who regretted knowing too little. Here is what I want you to do tonight. Go to annualcreditreport.com and pull your report. Free. Takes 5 minutes. Look at your score. Know your tier. Then go to your nearest credit union's website and start a pre-approval application. You do not need to buy a car tomorrow. You do not need to have a car in mind. But having that pre-approval letter in your hand 6 months from now, or 6 weeks, or 6 days, whenever you walk into a dealer, changes the conversation before a single word is spoken. The dealer sees a buyer who knows the game, and buyers who know the game get different deals. Tell me in the comments what rate you got from your credit union. I read them. I want to see how much the spread is where you live, because it is different in different markets and the numbers are genuinely interesting. Next time, I am going to show you the one question you can ask the finance manager that will tell you in about 5 seconds exactly how much room is still in the deal. Most buyers never ask it. Most dealers have never had it asked of them outside of another finance professional. The ones who do ask it always save money. That is next.